post this later on my own personal YouTube channel. So, my name is The Pharaoh. Welcome to Pharaoh Swim Tech. This is the online live stream that is broadcast solely to Team Zoot's Facebook page. And this is where I use my 15 plus experience, 15 plus years of swimming, plus 10 years of personal coaching, private coaching, in order to help you swim faster. So, before we start into tonight's topic of kicking, just want to remind everyone that number one, this is a live stream. If you are watching this live on Facebook, first off, thank you very much. If you like what you see here, hit the like button and make sure to comment if you got any questions whatsoever. If I'm going to cover it later in the stream, I'll simply say, hey, I see your question. I'll get to it. I'll pick that up later in the stream. Usually at the end, I like to do kind of a lightning round of whatever swim questions people have. Save them until the end of the broadcast. If you know you're not going to be here in the next, 30, 45 minutes, shoot it in the comments. I'll pick it up at the end of the stream. If you have any questions and are watching this as a VOD, please be sure to just leave comments either in the comments section if you're on YouTube or in the comments area, the chat box on Facebook, because I do monitor the chats and I will respond to your questions. You're always welcome to DM me on Facebook and email down here, thepharaoh@gmail.com. If you would like to have me review your swim stroke, I offer that as a free service. Donations are appreciated. But shoot me an email, thepharaoh@gmail.com, and I'll get you all the information you need to know in order to get started. Now, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk about kicking. Now, kicking is kind of a soft spot for a lot of triathletes. A lot of triathletes don't like to kick. They don't think they need to kick, and they don't really want to kick. Because, number one, kicking in swimming is hard. The first thing we got to understand is that water does not behave like concrete. We talked about this last week, where we talked about the idea that if you push down on your shoe on concrete, you're going to run faster. The harder you push, the faster you run. The harder you push the pedal on the bike, turns the pedals, the faster you're going to ride your bike. Swimming does not work like this. If you move your legs faster, that does not guarantee you will kick faster, okay? What I'm going to teach you tonight is I'm going to teach you how to use your legs effectively and efficiently. I am not going to teach you how to kick fast. Just remember that. I am here to turn your legs from a liability into an asset. Now, an asset does not mean it's going to be your primary generator of power. In swimming, in freestyle especially, freestyle and backstroke, your kick only comprises maybe 3 to 7% of your stroke. If you're stupid good, maybe 10% of your stroke. That's it. It's really not a big number. So if you're worried, you're like, oh, I got to get faster at kicking. No, that is completely the wrong mental attitude to have about kicking. What you want to do with kicking depends on your ability level. And we'll kind of talk about this more. This is more of a general introduction to the idea of kick technique, okay? If you are 2 minutes or faster per 100, you need to work on kicking technique only to get your legs away from being a liability. And we'll talk about how your legs are a liability later. If you're between a 145 and 2 minutes per 100, you're then starting to be at the point where you can start generating power with your legs. You're at a point to where hopefully you're not dragging your legs on the bottom of the pool. And if you're doing that, you can then start engaging those muscles and really starting to get a little bit of power out of them. Then once you get into the 145 to 130s, that's when you need to start upping your kicking abilities in order to have it be an actual contributor to speed. Only when you're under 145, that's when you really want to focus on your legs being speed. Until then, your legs are primarily there to aid in body rotation and the flotation of your lower body so your legs don't sink down to the bottom of the ocean. Then beyond that, when you're below 130, that's when you start working on really, learning how to effectively use your legs to generate more power. So it's very rare that I've seen swimmers that go under 130 completely misuse their legs. It's very rare when I see that. I almost always see swimmers that are above 2 minutes per 100 almost always misusing their legs. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about ways that your legs can become a liability. Now, remember, if you're watching this and you got any questions, please fire them away in chat as I take a drink. So, how are our legs a liability? I've already gone over one of them, and this is the idea when your legs just simply sink to the bottom, where your body positioning, your head's up here, your legs are all the way down there. That's when your legs become the worst liability, because not only are they producing legitimately zero power, they are holding you back immensely. And a good portion of that has to do with poor back posture. Next week, we will do the broadcast next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday, because Wednesday is when I leave for Lake Powell. So either Monday or Tuesday next week, and we will talk about body positioning. So arms, legs, and body positioning. Those are the three biggest items in swimming. If you can understand those, you are well on your way to becoming a much faster swimmer. But your legs sinking to the bottom of the pool also has a lot to do with your back curvature. That will be talked about next week. But your legs are not providing any lift. That means you are inefficiently kicking, and your legs just aren't able to float up because either your back position or simply just the way that you are kicking. Now, the next way that your legs can become a liability is by sucking up too much oxygen. And this is one of the biggest problems I've seen with kicking in terms of being, this is the other way the legs can become a major liability, where people think, oh, I gotta kick fast, I gotta kick fast, I gotta kick fast. Well, remember, our bodies use three major sources of sustenance to move: oxygen, food, water. Okay? Oxygen, food, water. Okay? And electrolytes, blah, blah, blah. That's all contained within food. Air. Air is the number one thing that runs out the fastest. How do we use air when we go? This is just basic molecular biology. We breathe in oxygen. Oxygen goes to the red blood cells. Red blood cells get transported to the muscles. We move the muscles. Muscles take the oxygen, use it, give back the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide goes back to the lungs. Lungs breathe out the carbon dioxide, and that's how we don't die. So when we're swimming, we're using our legs and our arms, okay? What are larger, our legs or our arms? Our legs are larger than our arms. Therefore, by simple math, our legs use up more oxygen than our arms do. Okay? That's just basic molecular biology plus simple math. Yes, there will be math tonight. So what happens, though, is when people kick too much, they burn up their oxygen supply super fast. If you are a person where you are swimming a 25 or a 50 or a 100 and you are winded. Now, there's a difference between tired and winded. Winded is just like, I just can't catch my breath. I can't catch my breath. If you're winded, you're kicking too much. Hands down, no questions asked. You are kicking way too much. Now, if your muscles are tired, that's a different story. But if your cardiovascular system is too winded, that's like, essentially what that is the same concept of being in a climbing gear on the flats and just, just pedaling like no other. And your legs are burning up all this oxygen and you're producing zero power, right? Because if you're in your lowest gear, I always forget which ones they are on the bikes. The lowest gears are the climbing bikes. The highest gears are the ones who are in the downhill go gear. I don't know. That's the way I view it. If you're in the highest gear and you're going down a hill and you're just spinning your wheels like crazy, your legs will be fine, but your cardio system's going to be completely gassed. That's the same concept that's going on if you kick too much when you swim. Your legs are, I guarantee you, if this is happening to you, your legs are producing virtually 0 watts of swimming force power stuffs. We don't really have a good definition of power for swimming. So I've actually seen legitimate swimming power meters, and I look at that, I'm like, No. Just use a stopwatch, man. Don't worry about power. Use stroke count and stopwatches. That's all we needed back in my day. That's all we needed. We don't need these fancy electronic mumbo jumbo. So yeah. So if you're kicking way too fast, you're producing virtually zero power. You're burning up your oxygen supply. You're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so those are realistically the two major items of splash generation and the kick. Should be violent, splashing up to the ceiling, more of a rolling turbulent wake. If this makes you want to be more of a rolling turbulent wake, especially if you're doing distance. Essentially, okay. So let's go over, in order to answer that question, Victor, let me go over kind of the physics of kicking, okay? So now we've talked about how legs can become a liability in the kick. Oh, one other thing too is if you kick down too far, okay? So this is neutral. So this is your butt, that's your toe. If you kick down too far, you'll actually push water forward, okay? That's the other way your legs can be a liability. If your legs all a little bit to your point, violent and splashing up to the ceiling. If you kick down really hard, you're going to create a large splash up, okay? But if you go down too far, you're going to actually be using a component of that kick pushing water forward. So that actually halts your forward progression. So in order to kick, we need to understand a couple concepts about kicking, okay? So what is the anatomy of a kick? How does kicking make you move forward? And Victor, this will definitely answer your question, okay? How do we move forward when we kick? So what we want to envision is this is our leg, okay? Water surface is in line with our leg, okay? So in order to kick, we want to kick, okay, so if I'm here, this is the bottom of my foot, okay? Here's my knee, here's my knee, here's the bottom of my foot, all right? Most people, they do one of two things. Either number one, their quad and hamstring stays motionless, and they do this, okay? And if you want to try this at home, you'll see what I'm talking about. Where what happens is you kick here, you're going to feel it a lot in your triceps. Kick, 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 kick. You're going to feel your tricep really flex, and that is what's helping extend your lower leg down here, okay? You can see kind of my lovely knee here, and boop, and boop, and boop. And if you do this, you'll feel your quad totally tighten up, okay? That's general mistake number one, only using half your leg to kick. If you do this, you're going to hammer your quads, you're going to hate yourself on the bike in the run. All right. Number two, worst thing I've seen people do is they treat the bottom of their foot like that's the part of the kick that moves you forward. So what they do is they bend their knee down and push their foot back. And so it kind of looks like this. Okay? More often than not, I see this, although I have seen this. This looks very strange because it is. So they draw their knee forward and then they push the foot back. So the reason why that's bad is because your foot has a very small surface area. Your leg has a nice large surface area. So we want to use our whole leg to kick. Now, what exactly happens when we use the full leg to kick? So what happens is you stay here. Your leg should move as one unit. That knee should be solid, tight. It should have tension in it. Now, you don't want to be like, oh, you don't want to lock that knee crazy tight. That's just going to hurt you. That ain't going to do any good. But you want to have it stiff, nice and stiff, okay? And then you want the whole leg to move as one object. You don't want that knee to bend. Now, some people may say, well, actually, in theory, notice me adjusting my smart man tie. Well, now, in theory, you actually want to lift up, bend the knee, and then extend all the way down. Don't even worry about that yet. That's what you do when you start getting into the 130s territory. That's when you actually want to start working on that. Now, what you want to do is you only want to kick a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. You know what I want to do? I want to get a bucket. Give me 1 sec. I got a bucket right outside. Let me grab a bucket real quick. Okay. So, you've heard people say, pretend that you're kicking in a bucket. Okay? Now, what they're talking about is they're talking about the amplitude of the bucket. Okay? So, this bucket is a standard bucket, standard 5-gallon bucket you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever the heck tool store they have in your area. So, what you can do is you can put your foot in and then kick up, kick down, kick up, kick down. Okay? That is the amplitude of the kick that you should have. Okay? So, there's 2 things that we need to discuss with regards to your kick technique. Number 1, straight legs. Number 2, what's the amplitude of your toes? Okay? Now, those of you that remember that lovely, lovely trigonometry, you remember the triangles and the sines and the cosines and the tangents, and I probably just made some of your heads explode, and probably some of you are in tears. I do apologize. But if I suffered through it, so could you. So, sine and cosine, they're the waves, right? Sine, cosine waves, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. The amplitude is defined as the peak of the high and the peak of the low. So it's kind of like sound waves. It's got peaks and lows, highs and lows, okay? So our leg wants to only go up and down a certain amount. We don't want to kick like this for reasons already described. So we're using our fun little bucket here. The idea is your foot starts in the middle. It only kicks up, kicks down, kicks up, kicks down, kicks up, kicks down, kicks up, kicks down. Okay? Realistically, that's about all the kick you need. You don't need a huge kick. You don't need a big old honking powerful kick. You only need to do, that's all you gotta do, and you will be so much of a better kicker. I guarantee you. If you just do this with your legs. Now there's a lot of people, okay, maybe about here. Now there's a lot of people that are going to tell you, "Oh, well, you got to bend your knees at this point and do this and do that and do Nah. Don't need it. Not necessary." You see, this is how you turn your legs away from being a liability. And for most of you, that is all you need to do. Because if you only have so much time in the pool a week, you do not have time to develop the perfect kicking technique. And even if you do, that's only going to gain you what? 1, 2, 3, Sochatoa. Yeah, Victor remembers that good stuff. Yeah, that also gives me... Don't worry. Trigonometry did not give me nightmares. It's always differential equations and multivariable calculus. I still have nightmares about those classes. That's what happens when you're a master's in civil engineering. But that's just me. That's not your nightmare. That's my living hell. Anyway, so with regards to kicking and just making it not a liability, realistically, we want to boil this down into something as simplistic as possible, because you're not going to drop time by becoming a better kicker. You're not. It's just not going to happen. How you're going to drop time is by learning how to pull stronger. Pulling stronger is so much more bang for your buck. Because you only got like maybe 3. The average triathlete probably has maybe 2 to 3 swim workouts a week. You don't have 2 hours a day, 5-6 days a week to really drill this thing into your head. You don't have this time. So there's no point in me getting into the crazy, the crazy technical aspects of kicking when that's not really something that's going to make you a better swimmer. When you start just kicking like this, your whole world's going to change. You're going to exert less drag. You're going to be able to get more power out of your arms because you don't have that much drag to overcome. Okay? We are mainly focused on getting your legs to not cause you drag. Okay? So, how do we pull this off? All right? How do we do this? You got to combine dry land and in the water kicking. You got to do the dry land. If you want this to work, you got to do dry land, all right? So I am going to tilt my camera down so you can see my lovely legs. So what we got here is, imagine I'm sitting on the ground, and I'm sitting in my chair because I've tried to do this on the ground and it just doesn't work that well. So what you want to do is you want to start, let me take my sandals off. You want to start by sitting in a chair or sitting on the ground and just doing this, okay? Point the toes, straighten out the knees, and do this. Just kick like this. About 6 inches up, 6 inches down. Just do this, okay? This is all you want to do. Start by doing this. Start by learning how to engage the entirety of the leg to move it up and down, all right? So you really want to do this sitting on the ground. And then what you want to do is you roll on your stomach. Okay, you're going to roll on your stomach, do the Superman kicks, just like that. So I will demonstrate Superman kicking because there's a lot of, I've seen some people try and demonstrate it, and they usually almost always do it wrong. So let me demonstrate it real quick. Oh, that's gonna totally block me out. Okay, move this here. I'm gonna shift you. Oh my gosh, this is totally not gonna work. All right. So. All right. So then that's the, I don't want to drag my chair over just yet. So then that's the next thing you want to do. You want to be on your stomach, doing Superman kicks. Pretty much you want to do like 3 sets of 2 minutes. 3 sets of 2 minutes every day. Lengthen it to 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 2 minutes. That's really going to work your core when you're sitting on your butt. It's going to work your lower back when you're on your belly. And then another thing that you can do is, let me pull this out here. Let me move this back down. Another thing you can do is I have a little subwoofer here. So what you can do is you can stand on something, and if you can balance, and just do this. Move, get your toes pointed down, toe pointed down, and then neutral legs. Move your leg forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Okay? This will really help you with your balance and really work on just kind of the general fluid motion where you're actually, because here's my hands. Remember, we got your up, and your down, okay? Down is the opposite direction you want to go. Up is the direction you want to go. So your toes are pointed down, just like they would be in the water. And you're going to kick forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, which translates into up, down, and up, down. So that last one was a little extra credit. If you can pull that one off, I mean, you can do that just standing on a stair, standing on a step. You can do that in a lot of different places. So that's how you want to work on it on dry land. So let me bring my chair back. Ow! Pinched my hand in the scissor jack. That sucks. All right, so that's the dry land. I mean, that realistically is just the dry line. There's really not much. It's just mostly focusing on getting the leg to move as one unit and not bending the knee. Now, couple things. Now, and this will affect some of you, and I guarantee it. If you have a very hard time moving your leg back, okay? If you have a hard time moving your leg backwards, or in other words, moving it upwards towards the surface of the water, then you have very tight hip flexors. If you have very tight hip flexors, it is going to be very, very, very hard to do this kind of kicking. I guarantee it. A lot of you that are very strong cyclists and very, very strong runners, I can almost guarantee you your hip flexors are going to be very tight on average. You need to work on loosening up those hip flexors if you want to make this kick work for you. You don't got to do it crazy. It doesn't have to be crazy. Let's see here. Kick is only 3 to 5. Doing this from rough math. Is there really any need to focus on the kick? Agree or disagree? Wrong. Just love content info time each week. Okay, so Victor Crane is Victor pretty much okay. So the reason why you want to focus on kick technique is and I chose my words very carefully. You're not allowing your legs to become a liability. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. You need to check and see if your legs are a liability. Are you kicking too much? Are your legs sinking to the bottom of the pool? Are you wiggling? Because wiggling, you're getting nothing out of it. And not only that, you're sucking up oxygen. So when I talk about kick technique, all I'm literally talking about is just doing this. Just doing this. That's all you got to learn how to do. You don't have to build your leg. You don't have to build your legs. You don't have to, do a bunch of fast kicking sets. All you have to do is just this. That's all you got to do. And the reason why there is so much discussion associated with this. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of theory and discussion associated with this. What you have to do is sincerely not that much. Now, the only time you may have to do, yep, you're overthinking it, Victor. I'm very careful, and trust me, I spend a lot of time monologuing on my own during car rides. Car rides with me would be very interesting if you're just a little fly on the wall, because all I do is monologue about random stuff that I stream about. And, I'm really trying to make this kicking something that is just easy to understand and something that's digestible and actionable, because there's nothing worse than me spending 30, 40, 50 minutes on kicking and you being like, I don't know what he's talking about. So now that's why I try and boil it down to kind of the most easiest way possible for you to get something out of your kick, but more than that, make it so your kick doesn't work against you. And that's my whole goal with tonight's stream, is helping you make your kick not work against you. Okay? So, number one, what you need to do is you need to do the dry land. You need to start working on the dry land. And also, this is a side benefit. It really works your core, your front core, and your back core. Really good all around dry land exercise, doing the kicks on your butt and your belly. Also, standing on something is good for balance, overall motor muscle skills. It's just really, really good to, have a good sense of balance. So then we get to the pool. What do we do in order to get this kick at the pool? So I have theorized about this. I haven't had anyone legitimately try this out and get back to me with it, though. This is my theory of how to teach you how to kick better. So the main problem is translating this on dry land into water, actually making you move forward. Now, let me explain for a minute how this kick makes you move forward. How does this kick make you move forward? What happens, okay? you have your leg. You are pushing your leg down and up. So, rule number 1, kicks are not down, okay? Kicks are down and up, and down and up, and down and up, okay? There are 2 movements to each kick. Down, up, 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 okay? That's the first hurdle to get over, understanding that there is a kick down and a kick up. Next, when we kick our leg down and when we kick our leg up, we are pushing water down, right? We're pushing water down. Now what happens is, as we push water down, water shoots down the length of our leg, okay? And much like if you take your kickboard and you go on top of the water and you splash your buddy, or like I would splash my brother all the time growing up when we were kicking next to each other, just smash water against him. That's how you move forward, okay? You move forward by pushing water down. That water gains force and moves down the length of your leg. And as you wedge down on that leg, the water moves backwards as you move forward, okay? The water moves in an equal and opposite direction. So you push down, it shoots that way, and you get propelled forward. This is why we do not want to bend our knees. This is exactly why we don't want to bend our knees. The reason why is your thighs have a greater surface area than your calves do and your shins do, okay? Your thigh generates a lot of force as it moves down, okay? Then all the water shoots down your leg. And then if you bend your knee, whoop, it all goes away. It doesn't have enough time to truly generate enough force to help move you forward. Okay, you're cutting it off halfway, so you're only getting maybe half of the power out of your kick. That's why you want to do this, okay? That's why you want the whole leg, the whole lever arm of your leg to move that water backwards by pushing it down, shooting it down your leg, okay? So, what needs to happen is when you get to the pool, and I very much so would recommend you dedicate 200 to 300 yards to do this one set, okay? If you do this set once every week, I guarantee you, you will be a better kicker a lot faster. I have no scientific results to prove this. Please, if you could prove this, please email me and tell me what you think and how this has helped you or hindered you in kicking. I need more data. Please give me more data. I want more data. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to sit on the deck. You're going to put your kickboard down, especially if you live in a place with an outdoor pool. It's been stupid hot here. Dunk your kickboard, put it on the deck, sit on the board, do your kicks, okay? 30 seconds of kicking on your butt. Then you're going to turn over, get on your belly. And then you're going to do 30 to 60 seconds of kick on your belly. Then what you're going to do is you're going to then hop into the water. You're going to hold on to the side of the pool. You're going to grip the gutter with one hand, and then the other hand is going to be fingers pointed down towards the bottom of the pool. You're going to float your lower body, okay? You're going to float your body into kind of like a Superman position to where your legs, you're going to hold up your whole body in this kind of braced frame position, okay? Structural engineering, this is a braced frame. You got your kicker and your beam, and you're pushing against the solid wall. I'm actually designing braced frames right now for Universal. So you push those down, and you hold yourself out sideways in the water. So then what you're going to do is you're going to hold this position. You're going to kick for about 30 seconds. Your kick for 30 seconds is you are pretending your feet are in a bucket and you're just kick, 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 kick. This is as fast as you want to kick. You don't want to go kick, 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 kick. But you don't want to go kick, 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 kick. You just want to go kick, 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 kick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a reason I'm counting to 4. We will get to it later. So you want to kick on the wall for 30 seconds. Then what you want to do is you want to grab your kickboard and you want to push off. I should have had my kickboard ready to go. I do apologize. So how do you hold your kickboard? Number one, how do you hold your kickboard? Here is the Team Zoot kickboard, or the Zoot kickboard. Like this. Okay? Notice my arms are actually on top of the kickboard. Okay? My arms are on top of the kickboard. Now, if you are having problems with your legs sinking to the bottom of the pool, I would like to recommend you kicking without a kickboard. Try kicking without a kickboard for a 25 and just go kick, 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 kick. And then if you need, and you're going to hold your arms out in a streamline, okay? You're going to kick, 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 kick. And then if you need to take a breath, just do one quick breaststroke, pull, take a breath, put your head back down, or do one stroke of freestyle, breathe, then put your face back in the water, kick, 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 breathe, kick, 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 kick. Okay, if you do streamline kicking, I guarantee you it will be a heck of a lot easier to keep your body positioning on top of the water. I just worked with a pro triathlete last weekend, and I'm legitimately having him do this to help raise his overall body positioning. We'll talk more about this next week, but for now, I think streamline kicking may be the ticket for a lot of people who just have an overall lower body positioning in the water. It doesn't help much with this, but if your body positioning overall is lower, this will help raise your body positioning. We're doing some field testing with this pro triathlete, and we're going to see if this actually helps. Because it worked great. It worked great on Saturday. We'll see if it helps overall. So you're going to grab a kickboard or a streamline kick. You're going to kick for a 25. You're going to do everything all over again. Get out, kick on your butt, kick on your belly, get in, kick on the wall, kick a 25, okay? So now you've gone a 50. So then you want to repeat the process again. Get out, kick on your butt, kick on your belly, hop in, kick on your belly. Now you're going to swim a 50. You're going to swim a 50. And your whole goal of this 50 is kick, 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 kick. That's it. That's all you're doing. Straight leg kicking, kick with your feet in a bucket. That's it. That's all you're focused on. That's all you're focused on. Your arms are simply there to move. They are not exactly generating a ton of power. Now, just kind of go back to something Victor got into / something overall. I legitimately stated your kick is pretty meaningless in terms of power generation. It doesn't create zero power. You should have no problems getting across the pool just kicking in a streamline and, taking a breath. Streamline kicking, no breathing. Okay, that's a pretty high tier ability to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just kick, 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 take a breath, kick, 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 kick. You should be able to kick while staying on top of the water, and you should be moving forward at a decent rate, okay? Just because the kick doesn't produce a ton of power doesn't mean its power output is not completely able to do away with. And the reason why I talk about this is going to be the last topic I'm going to get into tonight. And now this is so everything I've covered up to this point, basic level. I mean, everyone all the way up until about a 145 should be really focused on simply kicking with stiff, straight legs, okay? If you have stiff hip flexors, if you're not able to kick up in the water, if that's very, very hard for you, or if you're trying to do your Superman kicks and you can barely get your thigh off the ground, that's the key. That's the key. If you're doing Superman kicks, your thighs do not get off the ground. You need to start doing yoga, basic yoga, do two 30-minute sessions of yoga a week. I guarantee you after about 3 weeks, you'll see vast improvement in your hip flexor mobility. Obviously, if you got hip issues, stuff like that, know your limits, know your actual limits. If you simply just have tight hip flexors, do yoga, basic yoga. Check it out. Check anyone out on YouTube. I like yoga with Adriene. She does good job with her yoga routines. I've done a number of them. Pretty much anyone just doing a basic 30-minute yoga session, that's all you need. Anything longer than 30 minutes, you kind of run the risk of overstretching and then things kind of get complicated. So just basic 30-minute yoga, that'll work for that. If you have a hard time pointing your toes, like if doing this is very hard, you see how my ankle is almost a perfectly straight line. If that is very, very, very hard for you, you need to stretch your ankles out. And all you got to do is just kind of kneel down with your toes pointed backwards. If that hurts, okay, essentially you're gonna look like this. Here, let me just show you real quick. Okay, if you can do this, see, my toes are pointed backwards, and I'm just basically sitting on my ankles, okay? If this is very, very, very hard for you, what you need to do is you need to start stretching them. And you stretch them by slowly putting weight, using your hands. I have a green screen right here. So use your hands to lower your weight onto your ankles and use that to stretch your ankles. I guarantee you, having ankles that don't flex, that is a real impediment to kicking. Now, I do know, and I have worked with people who simply through genetics, they cannot flex their ankles. It's not a deal killer. It's just going to be a little bit harder for you. There's really no workaround for that. If your toes are pointed down towards the bottom, they're going to be pushing water forward, and it's just going to be a little bit harder for you to, really get the good technique and kick more efficiently. I'm sorry, that's just the way things work. So we've gone over flexibility. Now the last item we're going to talk about for the next about 5 minutes is going to be kicking patterns, kicking speed, kicking cadence. Okay. Now, when we talk about kicking cadence in swimming, we usually talk about it in terms of beats. Okay, 2 beat, 4 beat, 6 beat. Okay, 2 beat and 6 beat kind of are the more popular versions. 4 beat is what I do, and I will swear by it until the day I die. 2 beat kick, and when we talk about beats, we talk about how many kicks per full stroke rotation. So let's say my right arm's in front, my left arm's in back. So one full stroke rotation is taking a pull with the right and a pull with the left. So my right hand is back forward again. One full cycle of pulling. So if we're talking about a 2 beat kick, that means 1 kick with the right arm, kick, and then 1 kick with the left arm, kick. Okay, I actually worked with a teenager today, and he does a 2 beat kick, and my gosh, we are changing that stat. He's a 50 freestyler with a 2 beat kick. Who knew they existed? Also, 6 beat kick. I do not like 6 beat kicks. 6 beat kicks, they don't work for me. One of two things happens. Number one, you have to bend the knee in order to make the legs move fast enough in order to be able to properly get all 6 kicks within the full arm cycle. So that really cheapens your kicking. It's just not worth cheapening your kick like that. Number two, your arm speed slows down in order to allow your kick to be able to do the full 6 kicks in one cycle. Then that totally sacrifices your arm power for your kick power, which isn't as good as your arm power, yada, yada, so on and so forth. So, personally, I like a 4 beat kick. I like 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reason for this is it scales up for sprinting. I can do it sprinting, and it scales down for distance. I can do it with distance. Reason why, the way this works is by going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember how I talked about counting? This is where it comes into play. What happens now is the significance of your kick is no longer generating power. It is for setting the cadence of your stroke. Okay? Now, Victor, this is why you need to work on your kick, even though it does jack diddly squat for you. You want to work on your kick so it's in sync with your arms. When your kick is in sync with your arms, you get a huge boost to efficiency. I have no scientific numbers to throw with this, just what I do and my own personal experimentation over the years. When your legs and arms are in sync, it just makes your life a lot easier. So, the way you do this is do the kicking routine. When you're doing the kicking routine, envision your arms are going. Envision 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, left arm, right arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the head nod is when it enters the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Getting into a groove, I guarantee you, this will revolutionize how you swim distance. This is how I learned how to swim distance. When I was a teenager, I was into EDM back when EDM was called the rave music. And I loved techno, trance, electronic, all that stuff. Back in the mid-90s, ATB, Darude, Sid Van Reel, Paul Van Dyke, all those guys, they were my heroes, and I listened to them religiously at swim meets. That is how I got in the groove for my distance events, and I still do it today. I still rock the ATB. I love the ATB still, even after all these years. And Darude. Darude is fantastic. He has a Twitch stream, by the way. Check out his stream on Fridays. It's fantastic. Twitch.tv/Darude. But I digress. Getting into a rhythm is immensely amazing in terms of swimming, where when you're able to relax and get into that state of flow. Now, this is where I go into the metaphysical hippy-dippy baloney area of swimming, where it's like, yeah, man, you just gotta, feel the water, man, you just, get into the groove, and you're just, swimming, there's, dolphins by you, it's, totally groovy. Yeah, it's weird. I'll openly admit I'm a little nerdy when it comes to, getting into that flow in water, and, being able to just be at ease and comfortable in that flow, where if your legs and your arms are completely out of sync, it just makes your life more chaotic. And if you're someone that is struggling with, getting over mental anxiety when it comes to swimming in open water, when if you get anxiety on race day and stuff like that, if you're able to just settle down into a groove, your life is going to get much easier in the water. And by using your kick to set the cadence, you allow yourself to slip into a groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your life, I guarantee you, will become a lot easier. So, starting tomorrow or starting in your next swim workout, a couple things you need to work on, okay? Well, starting tomorrow, start on the dry land, really. If you feel like your legs are a massive liability, just start doing the dry land. Just start doing that. Just start doing that. And start working it into your muscle memory every day. Just a little bit every day. And then when you get to the pool, start, thinking, when you do kicking sets, because all of us do kicking sets, start thinking of, how many kicks do you do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Start counting. Just start counting up to 4. And then, start getting into a groove to where it's consistent. Your kick is consistently 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I see people go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Don't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just get into a groove. Your life will be much better. It'll be a lot easier to swim. I can guarantee it. So that's going to be it for me. I got a couple more minutes just for while I'm kind of wrapping things up here. If you have any questions and you're still in chat, please hit them up in the chat. Let me get one more drink here. I have a couple fans going here in the garage. It's still pretty hot in here. Actually, the temp right now here in sunny Southern California is I don't know what the temp is. What the frick is a temp? Come on, phone. Tell me the temp. How dare you not tell me the temp? 80 degrees. It's still 80 degrees at almost 9 o'clock at night. Glorious. Yeah, so like I said, that's it for me. If you want me to review your stroke technique, please email me, theferal@gmail.com. Thank you, Team Zoot, for allowing me to, take over your Facebook page once a week and talk about swimming. This is something that I absolutely love to do. If you have friends that live either in Eastern LA County area, North OC, San Diego County, San Bernardino County, if you got anyone that lives in those places, I do in-person swimming lessons here in my hometown of Glendora. If you want to set up a swim lesson, please email me, theferal@gmail.com. I guarantee you I will be a heck of a lot cheaper than a lot of other professional triathlete coaches because I do this as a hobby. I mean, legitimately, this stream is a hobby. Zoot does not pay me to do this. I do this just out of the genuine love of swimming and the hopes that I can help more of you get faster at swimming. And you know what? Big shout out to Mark. I posed this idea to him about 2 years ago. And, he let me have this chance, and I've been loving it ever since. Thank you so much, Mark. You do such great work for Team Zoot. And just everyone else that's on the team. I meet people whenever I get the chance to travel, and I absolutely love doing it. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I see that there's no more comments, so we'll cut it here. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like what you see here, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Love to have you a part of the Frito Bandito Taqueria. I will be streaming on Twitch in about 20 minutes, and we'll be playing some video games. I got some buddies that come on voice chat. We chat and joke about a bunch of random stuff. So if you want to hear me crack a bunch of jokes, twitch.tv/theferal1. So I'll be back next week, and we will be doing body positioning. It'll be a little bit shorter stream. There's not that much to go over with. So, yep. I hope this helps you swim faster. Tell your friends about me. Shoot me an email if you got any questions. Leave comments down below. And until later, my friends. Good night, Isaiah Norris. Wherever you are, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.